Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to a brand new episode of Sister Sister right here on City TV. And if you're listening, it's 97.3 City FM. My name is Chris Carter, and I'm actually excited to be here with you. As you can see, it's all rosy, and I'm in, some red. And that means we are celebrating the month of love. It's going to be a special episode today because on this episode, we are going to be delving into issues where love takes the center stage, and we're going to be exploring the intricacies of love when it comes to relationships. And of course, we don't do this alone. We actually do this with the letters that you send to us to read out for us to help you solve those issues that you're going through in your relationships. I won't be doing this alone. I'll be doing this with my sisters. And after the break, I will be introducing my sisters. But before we go on the break, I'd just like to remind you that this is brought to you by Gino for your favorite sauces, your stews, your jollof. In fact, all delicious meals need Gino because Gino truly cares. On that note, it's time for me to go on a quick break. I'll be right back with the sisters. Welcome back, and it's the month of love, like I told you before. Now, my sisters are here, and it's time for me to introduce them. But before we introduce them, remember that you can actually send your stories to us if you have any problems that you're dealing with when it comes to the issues of relationships. You can actually send it to us via sisterislive@gmail.com, and you could be the next person that we could be helping to figure out what the problem is and what solutions and what directions that you should be taking to solve those problems that you are going through. But now, like I said, my sisters are here. Hi, sisters.
Hi, Chris.
I haven't seen you. Well, I've seen you guys out, but in the studio together. We've not done it in a while. So Happy New Year, number one.
Happy New Year.
Many happy returns.
Yeah. And also, it's the month of love. How are you feeling?
Every day is an opportunity to love, actually. But I like the fact that the day has also been set aside to celebrate love. So I'm feeling in love.
Right. Felicia, what did you do what did you do for Valentine's Day?
All right, so Valentine's Day, I celebrated 1 year of discovering my new self because it was exactly a year ago that I decided to step out on Val's Day to show love to myself by cutting my hair, buying a form to do my master's, which I finished in January.
Right.
So there's nothing better to celebrate than a year of owning my self-love.
I like that. And Sicho. And of course, if you don't know, Sicho is actually coming out with a movie very, very soon.
Yes.
So watch out for it. And watching the whole, the whole
Trailer. And teasers.
The teaser of the whole movie. Well done, girl.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Well done. So, what did you do for Valentine's Day?
Well, I had dinner with somebody special, and
No, you're scared of somebody special.
I had dinner and then just took the rest of the day easy, and it was quite good.
Right.
It was quite good.
Okay.
Everybody needs somebody to spend such an occasion with.
Wow. Okay, don't ask me what I did. I did nothing. I did nothing, but I did nothing.
You didn't have somebody special.
It could be your friend. It could be
My dogs.
that's still somebody special.
I love them. I love them so much, and my family. Anyway, sisters, once more, you are welcome to the show. I've missed you guys so much, and it's nice to see you here. And I like that we are actually reuniting, on the month of love. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Olivia, Felicia, and Sicho right here, let's cheers.
Cheers to love.
Cheers to love.
Cheers to love. Cheers to love.
All right, so before I take a sip, our stories are ready. The letters that you actually sent are ready. And it's time for me to dive into it. So let me just keep this here. And let's start with the first one. Dear sisters, the craziest thing happens to me. I have been married to my husband for 15 years. Mind you, this man was my first love. Sisters, despite all the love we have shared as a young couple, we have grown to build a beautiful home. Our love started to drizzle off a year ago. Don't get me wrong. My man did everything he had to do as a husband in the house. He was respectful and kind, yet the spark between us died off. I had to resort to dating sites to balance my emotions. Through the swiping, liking, and poking, I came across a charming man who I immediately drew towards. We started spending hours on ending on chats, talking the night away and sharing our innermost wildness. I could literally get aroused from just talking to this new man. Honestly, I saw my husband also busy on the phone, but I could care less because I was also always carried away on my phone. The trick I used this entire time to seal my identity was to use photos of a random lady I follow online. The situation went on with the guy I was talking to, and we both decided to meet for the first time. You may think I was concerned about how he would react when he saw me in real life and realized I wasn't the lady in the picture I sent him. Sisters, I didn't even care because I just want to see this man and possibly make passionate love with him. The day I had to go meet my online boo was set, and luckily for me, my husband was out of town, so there was no explanation to be made. I wore a sexy outfit, got a makeup artist to beat my face, and got all dolled up for my first date. I got to the location mentioned, and I also mentioned my reservation and walked straight to the allocated table. To my surprise, my date had already arrived, but his back was facing me, so I didn't see his face till I got to the table. You won't believe what I saw. Sisters, here was my husband staring at me. What is Kweku doing here? Hey! I took a deep breath and sat down. He started talking and told me he's been the man behind the text this entire time. He also signed up to the dating app to find new connections because what we had died off. Sister, we followed through with the date, but I'm highly disappointed and don't know what to do. I need my online bae back.
Christopher, why is she highly disappointed?
That's a good question. But if I had to answer, I think she probably might be highly disappointed because, she said she could literally get aroused just from talking to him. And also he made her discover her her innermost wild parts. So that means probably the husband was not doing that with her.
Yeah, but my point is, why are you disappointed? You are out of your marriage, desecrating upon your marriage,
right?
All over the place with a supposedly new guy, and you are disappointed. She has no moral right to be disappointed. I don't think that should be the word.
Yeah,
for a married woman.
No, you should clearly understand that at this stage, this lady had gone past moral.
Yeah, she said she doesn't care.
She's only worried and she only cares about her emotions.
Aye.
So that's all she's worried about right now. Forget about morals. If she cared about morals, first of all, she wouldn't be sexting with another man in her married home.
Yeah.
2, she wouldn't even plan. This lady
Go
didn't
to
just
the
get up to
extent.
go and see a
Exactly.
man. She even booked the makeup artist. I'm a makeup artist, so I know the process.
Yeah.
Book, pay, get all dolled up.
She probably bought a new dress.
I'm sure she even shaved and all that. She went through all that.
She was thinking sex.
Do you think if she had any moral ground, she wouldn't have pinched herself through this process? Nah.
This is shocking. I'm curious to
about
ask.
moral. It's all about her emotions. So please, let's help her with her emotions.
This is shocking.
Let's not spoil the story, please. Let's stick to emotions. As for the morals, we wouldn't answer this.
If marriage become a scam, is it that difficult to stay with one person for that long? Because honestly, this is ridiculous to start with.
Well, Olivia's married, so Olivia, let us know what happens, especially when it feels like it's getting stale. What do you do?
I always say love, marriage is a decision. Love is a decision. You decide the day that you say I do, you make that decision to love that person no matter what. And you need to be intentional about loving your partner. You need to be not just intentional, but you need to make it a doing word. Love must be a doing word in every marriage. The reason why I say this is because we lose. I've been together with Stefan for 17 years of marriage and over 23 years of friendship. We've been through it all. It's a whole life cycle where we got married, we couldn't keep our hands off each other, we were together, like lovey-dovey was at its peak. When children coming, children even decide when you guys are going to be intimate. But the reason why I say it's intentional is because he will text me. We sometimes text each other steamy text messages, and we delete it because we're like, hey, Master, you have to delete it. When I'm at work, like, you need to be intentional about every single thing. If you sit down there, your marriage will be stale. You will not be happy because it's a decision to be happy. It's a decision to make it work. It's a decision to ensure that you are not marrying anybody. You're not going to fall in love with anybody because in front of God and in front of men, you took a decision that no matter what it is, I have decided to choose you. I have decided to love you. So if you don't put in the work, don't expect to reap the results.
Exactly.
You need to put in the work. You need to be there. You see, when you always allow a third person into your marriage or your relationship, now allowing a third person is not always physical. You emotionally allow yourself to think, to begin to even appreciate another person besides your partner. You start comparing them. You start comparing what they look like, what they smell like, what they sound like, what they like. You start comparing, and immediately you lose focus. You need to be focused in the relationship in which you are in. Otherwise, it's a mess. Honestly, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can easily fall in love with anybody who is out there. But once you've decided, stick to it and make it work. Go back to basics. Say, what's your first love? My husband has been my first love to date. And I asked myself, I would never forget when we started growing up, because I'm coming from a family whereby my mom and dad were together, but they loved, my daddy did not like really fully love my mom till the last, like we went through the whole wahala. If you know, you know. But I will never forget, and he reminds me to date, when we started dating each other, I said, are we going to be happy in the next 20 years from today? He looked at me and he smiled because we speak about it today because he puts it at the back of his mind, and he was like, I will do whatever it takes to ensure I'm not sitting here, I'm going to say we are perfect. No, far from it. Trials and tribulations come, but because at the end of the day, the marriage, the foundation is God. You always need to set the tone, and you cannot do it without the help of God. Honestly, the foundation of our marriage is God, and God actually puts the entire piece together. Without God, it's not by your strength or by your might. It's not easy to be in love with one person.
Right.
It's not easy to decide that you're going to be committed to one person, but you need to be intentional about it, and you need to work at it every single day. Every single day is an opportunity to forgive. Every single day is an opportunity to be exciting towards your partner. And the men and the women, it's like it's 50-50. Husbands, buy lingerie for your wives, take them out, go on steamy date nights together.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Cook for her, bring her breakfast in bed. The women also, when you have 2-3 children, don't leave yourself pacha, or bring it together. Men are visual beings. They love what they see. Try and put things together. It's not easy, but you need to be intentional.
Right. Felicia.
All right. I agree with Olivia, but I will take it from initiating the initial stages of the marriage, because I'm not married. So what you go into the marriage with, the mindset you go into the marriage with, and I'll talk about communication. I feel like people are currently getting married for the wrong reasons.
Sure. Yes.
It's crazy. It's insane. This past season, the Christmas season, I used to crack a joke that now all the guys like diaspora girls. Now that is a thing here. You would believe it or not, you accept it or not, you acknowledge it or not, but it is a thing now. All of them like the diaspora girls. Why? Because everybody is looking for an exit plan. We know married men who marry women they feel can stay at home and take care of the kids. A societal construct has been created of who a married woman should be. So we marry these women and keep them at home and we kind of explore our fantasies outside of marriage. Do you get it? So I feel like those of us who are yet to marry need to be conscious about the people we decide to stay with. Me, I tell myself there's only 3 things I look out for. A stable man. When I talk about stability, I'm talking about financial stability, emotional stability, spiritual stability. 2, a man who respects and loves me. Love, yeah. I'm not talking about the butterfly love. The love that a man or human being will have for their child. A love that is empathic. A love that is kind. A love that is patient. If you have that, box ticked. 2, you should be attractive to me. I should feel attracted to you. It's not just the men feeling attracted to women. We women should also be attracted to the men we settle with. So that if the men are not putting in effort into the emotional, the intimate part of the relationship, because we have the spark, we keep it ignited, right? You should be able to wake up and say, good morning, sunshine. Yeah. Because that is how you truly feel about him. Most of us are settling with good pockets. Rich family, kids from rich families, managers, directors, because of societal status. So it's time we break ourselves from the societal construct that has been created for who a husband should be like and who a wife should be like. If you can do with a club guy, sis, go for your club guy. Yes. Because that is what you know deep inwardly that you can live with. I like to go out. I like to chill. So I honestly don't see myself marrying a criff. I can't even be humble about it. I can't pretend. At least, I'm not saying I want a bad boy, but I can't be with a man who always wake up and say, oh, don't touch me in public. Don't smack my... It won't happen because me, I'll smack. So you can't be criff around me. It won't work. So let's identify what we look for so that at least when the love is drizzling away...
My husband is criff, but I smack his...
There are different types of criff.
They're actually different levels to it.
Criff. So me, when I talk about criff, is the criff I mean, like the one we all know. Criff that will be like, so me, the one I know is the criff that will say, please, when we go into public, don't even smile. At the wedding, don't be dancing, shaking your boobs. I don't like people seeing. There are men I won't lie to you. There are men like that. I had a boyfriend who would tell me that, please don't go embarrass me in public. Because he knows I'm bubbly. Like me, when I go out, whether I like it or not, people will punch me. Someone will tap me and I will I will erupt. No matter how calm I try to be, someone will come and say, Felicia, and I'll be like, hey. That is me. But my boy will tell me, madam, don't go and embarrass me. Oh, when you go, please be quiet.
Why?
You can't take alcohol. Hey.
Wow.
I can't take alcohol. Why are you taking my happiness away from me? So sisters, back to the story. I feel what happened was, it could have been they settled for something that society has constructed for them. And now it got to a because how long can you pretend for? I have a friend I told, Derek always tells me, Felicia, how long can we pretend for? After 10, 15 years, the pretense was zip, it will cease. Now you are there looking for a man that will ignite your innermost wildness. Madam, why can't you be wild with your husband in the house? And ladies, please, let's tend to be creative. You know, stop covering those things. Leave it for our mothers. They are not doing that, so they won't tell you. Me, I've heard some married women telling me crazy things they've been doing in their room. And I look at them and I... So you know all this. They won't tell you because in our society we don't talk about certain things. So we are there feeling like, oh, my mom is in the room being an angel. Your mom is not being an angel in the room, my sister. She's being naughty, so be naughty in the room. Be crazy with your guy. And the men, don't be scared. If you like something, introduce it into the room. Like, have a conversation.
Talk about it.
Madam, please, this time I don't like kuntumumu. Let's be real. These are the problems we need to start talking about. We are not embracing who we are. We copy blindly. We are there watching westernized things. The Christianity that was introduced to us, we've taken it too personal. We've taken it, we don't even understand the Bible we are reading. If you're being kind to someone, please, being kind to someone in the bedroom is part of kindness. Being patient with your man in the bedroom is part of being patient. Patience is not just sitting there and, no. You can be patient in the bedroom. You can be kind in the bedroom. You can be loving in the bedroom. You can be sweet. You can be benevolent in the bedroom.
Oh, yes.
So let's understand the Christianity well. Let's break ourselves from social control. And the last bit I'll touch is communication.
Yes.
Let's communicate how we feel. Let's communicate our expectation. Let's communicate how, like, when your body is doing you something, like Olivia said, text it, baby. Today my body is doing me. Tingle. Let's try something different. So that's the little I have to say.
No, but okay. I actually like what you said about, the whole societal construct and people not being able to be themselves because of what society is expecting them to be or what society expects of a perfect marriage. So at the end of the day, people get to marry who they don't even really want to be with just because I have to be comfortable. It's like there are some men out there, really, the men, they're like bad girls, bad girls, the bad ones, the girls that, but they're just going to go for one, marry Madeleine, put her in the house, she'll give birth, she'll now change, she'll not just be there. They'll be looking at each other at some point. And I think that's what's happening in the marriage. At 15 years, they're just looking at each other, they don't know what to do. And he can't say it to her because
she also can't say it.
Exactly, because they're both not compatible, but they can't say it. Anyway, Sishu.
This is a very interesting topic, but both my sisters have said something that is really crucial to how you end up with someone or how you should end up with someone. So I'm going to just add bits and pieces to what they've said. If you don't love someone, truth is, no amount of talking, no amount of all this trying to be sweet and kind is going to work. I think it's high time we talk about the fact that marriage should be purely based on love. You love someone enough that you know that you want to, like our sister Olivia said, you know that 20 years down the line, I still want to love this person. I still want to put everything into this relationship. Another important thing is we as humans know ourselves. You don't know what somebody else is thinking for himself or for you for the next 10 years or 15 years. Somebody might say, I love you now, but I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. But they can't tell you that because they want to be married to you now. And they don't know what's going to happen. So a lot of the times, it gets to a point where if that person had that notion, then what's going to happen is, after 10 years, he wants to get out of it. So he's not going to put in any effort into trying to fix things. So you are in this thing alone now. You want that long-term thing, but he's looking for something else. He's moved on from this. And that's the challenge I find sometimes. Sometimes the men, they marry, at that point he's in love. The point he's marrying you, he's in love. He feels, every box is taken for me. Let's go for it.
Wow.
But 10 years down the line, he's no more in love. And truth is, when a person is no more in love, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
And true.
Yes.
True.
And so no amount of, which is needed here, therapy is very important. If things are not working, it is important you go for therapy before you start looking outside, like what the lady has done in this case. You start talking to other people and all that. First, you talk to the person. Secondly, I think you should go for therapy. Thirdly, I think you should bring in an elderly person within both of your families to at least help sort out this problem. Because you see, another thing is we trivialize issues. It's a small issue. Oh, we've not spoken for a day. Or he's my husband. We'll sort it out. But then it builds up. I was watching a documentary that was talking about how sex is not enjoyed between older couples because of built-up conflict. They don't talk about it. Oh, it's nothing. They don't talk about it. It goes on and on. After a year, you see that your love for the person is dwindled because he's done things that you are pissed about that you never really vocalized. And you're just there, and it's building up on that. So now one day he touches you and there's no feeling anymore. And I feel these are the things that happen in relationships, especially in marriages, that make it fall apart. So if the person is not in love with you anymore, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. But you find that in this case, for example, because he thinks he's communicating with a totally different person, he's come with his A game again. Again. Yes. And this other lady thinks she's also communicating with a totally fresh man. So she's also coming to the table with her A game. And now finding out that it's the same person you were chatting with all the while, you'll be amazed they'll get back to the house and nothing fantastic is going to happen in the bedroom. Because it's the same old person you're dealing with. Because the root of the problem has not really been resolved. it's still lingering, and you've met the person, you know, it's the same damn person.
But I think it's interesting how they both manage to keep their excitement going. So it means that they both have something in common, but they both are not being mature and
they don't know it.
I don't want to rule out that they don't like each other, because in communicating, right, when you communicate with somebody and the person doesn't say the things you want to hear, you get ticked off.
Yes. But mind you, sometimes you don't like the person now, not because of anything they've done now. It's because of built up emotions that have happened over time, right? And so the communication, and mind you, they are both thinking they are talking to totally different people. So they are coming with the best versions of themselves. But once you meet the person that you are having issues with, it's subtle. Nobody has said there's a problem. Remember, she says the man is still acting like a gentleman. He's still doing his duties as a husband and all that. So there are things nobody has spoken about that has simmered in the background for a long time. Because people don't just, like you rightly said, people don't just fall out of love. It is gradual. It is the little unsaid things that have just built up in ways that you can't really explain. Sometimes even when you go to therapy, you can't explain what the person has done.
I actually
the apology you ignore, the little tap on the shoulder, the little consideration you ignored, that call you didn't make, that I'm sorry you didn't say. It's a lot of things. So when these things
I really understand you, and I want to add that, especially in our setting, it's so hard for men to speak. So maybe the woman always wants to talk. Maybe let's fix it. Maybe let's not now. Maybe not now. Maybe not now.
And are you okay?
You know,
something's going wrong in the office. He wants to act like a hard guy.
And I also took out something from what you said, and it's actually an experience that's happening to a friend of mine right now. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing. Obviously, I'm not calling your name, but like you said, a man can be in love with you right now. So she got married, you know, very big wedding. It was a destination wedding out there. They flew people from Africa out to Europe. And after a year, this man comes, look into her face and say, 2 children, by the way. I don't think I can do this family thing. It's not for me. I'm in love with someone else. I know she doesn't love me because you're too nice, you're too kind. Like, this is not what I want. I want the wilder side of things. And I kid you not, they have signed the divorce papers.
After all that?
Yes.
So
he was open to even say it. He's white. He said it out straight. Like, I don't think I can do this.
So here's the thing. I think finding a solution. Finding a solution to this lady's problem and putting all the things we've all said together. What I think they should start doing is, they need to start identifying where the problem is.
Have open conversation.
They should have open conversation. They shouldn't rush it. I think one thing I've learned in life is don't rush problem solving. We like to rush problem solving. It's okay that we sweep it under the carpet. Let's take it step by step. And I think if they were able to spark things up, not knowing who they were speaking to, and were able to do all those online lovely-dovely things, they should start dating again.
Well, yes. For me,
they should. They should start talking about their problems and be intentional about dating. So let's go out tonight. Let's start doing the things we spoke about online and see where that takes us. I feel it will be a good start. It would change overnight.
If it's matured.
Exactly.
If it won't change overnight.
The same thing he wants. It should start from what does he want? Is it tallying with what you want at this point in your life? Let me give you a very good example. And this is from personal experience. I was dating someone. We have a child. Yes, of course, when the child is coming, there's discussions about, should we go for this? He says yes. Sometimes a person is also saying yes because they don't want to offend you. A person is saying yes, let's go for it, let's get married, because they don't want to offend you, because they don't want to make you cry, because they love you now, but they are not sure of tomorrow. But they have to say yes now, because otherwise you're going to leave, and they don't want you to leave. We don't think about all that. We don't even take things into prayers. When you're in love and it's getting to that point where, should I settle that? We don't. Look, I will tell you for free. I wasn't doing the prayer for all that. But you grow up and you get to a certain point in life, you realize it is very important. Every decision you make, you must take it to God. But we don't. And so now this person, after a child, 2 children, says to you, this is not what I want. What he wants is to have a life that he dreamt of. And the life that he dreamt of is not living in that in that state, both financially, emotionally, with kids, and he's not really found himself, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
You have kids now. Your main focus now is to fight for that relationship or marriage to work. But it's not going to work because the person is now, he's come to an awakening moment in his life that this is not the kind of life he planned for. But he condoned it while it lasted.
Just to make you happy.
Whether it was just to make you happy or the fear of him looking bad or whatever it is, you don't know. But the point is, there's so many reasons, there are layers to humans. There's so many layers to humans. There's so many reasons why people do things.
Wow.
You know?
Because, I just to quickly buttress your point, you can never ever know anybody, but what makes a difference is God. Like I would always say, asking God for the spirit of discernment to be able to make the right decision when it comes to choosing the partner. And for me, I feel like for most men, they need, and love is difficult, but love your wife as Christ loved the church, because if it was that easy, God wouldn't ask them to love their wives like that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you so much, sisters. I think if I leave you, we are going to keep on having this conversation, because I mean, it's really a broad one, and I hope that she's listening and watching. But it's time for us to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Sister right here on City TV, and if you're listening, it's 97.3 City FM. Okay, and it's time for us to get into our second letter, but a quick reminder that this is sponsored by Gino, because Gino truly cares. All right, guys, are you ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. So our second letter: Dear sisters, I have been struggling for love for the past 3 years. Last year in July, I met a very nice gentleman who swept me off my feet. We started talking and got to know each other, and both of us discovered we are fond of each other. We are very open and truthful to ourselves, and I couldn't believe that I got lucky after 3 years with the best man I could ever ask for. My boyfriend and I have been dating since September 2023, and I must confess, it's been a beautiful ride so far. I haven't met any member of his family yet, although he has met my sister and best friend. My boyfriend has a particular uncle he speaks so highly of, whom I haven't met yet, but I already like, to say the least. This uncle, this uncle took care of him and trained him through all the levels of education there is to have. He literally is his father. Sisters, I had the shock of my life last weekend as I scrolled through my boyfriend's status on his uncle's birthday. What did I see? I saw a man I dated 5 years ago when I was just about completing my university education. What? I exclaimed so loudly and my body began to shake. This cannot be true. My boyfriend is scheduled to meet my family for an introduction next week, Saturday. This is the best thing that has happened to me in the longest time, and I cannot lose him. Sisters, I'm so confused. Should I tell him the truth about his uncle and I, or turn a blind eye to what I have seen? I really need help, sisters. This is the true love of my life, and I want to get married to this angel. How should I approach this? Sisters, please help me.
Definitely don't build your marriage on the foundation of lies. And especially because it has to do with family. This is your fiance's uncle that you were in a relationship with 5 years ago. And you can't take your fiancé away from family. There's nothing you can do about it. I think that before you say I do, he needs to know. And you owe him that right to be able to decide, okay, this is what you did in the past, I don't care, but I love you for you. I still want to marry you. I still want to be with you. So if you go ahead and not tell him, it will be very selfish of you. I'm going to call a spade a spade. What do you want to do? Not tell him. Your uncle is going to end up telling him, or your uncle is going to come in between, and then your uncle is probably going to say, okay, I'm going to blackmail you. How about your uncle his uncle is going to say, okay, let's have sex. If you don't have sex with me,
I'll tell him, yeah.
You don't want all of that wahala around you, especially when you're going to embark on a very important journey such as marriage. Do not build any relationship whatsoever on lies, and then omission of information. Information is very important. Once you decide, oh, maybe I'm not going to tell, maybe, let them find out. No. So, honey bunny, come clean, let your fiancé know, especially because, the thing that bores me a lot is the fact that you love somebody, but you do not want to share your problems with them. A problem shared is a problem half solved. It means that you don't trust them or you don't even trust their decision enough. Allow them, give them an opportunity to decide. That is love.
Right.
That is love.
Right.
If they love you for you, they will be with you. If they don't, you pick up your pieces and you move on.
And can I say, people do not really open up like that because of the judgment they might get.
Sooner or later, with this, is marriage is family. You can't split it.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't, because it's two families coming together to make it work. You're going to have an outdoor in. Even the marriage itself, uncle is going to be there. There's no way you can take one away from the other. They're one and the same. And especially because it has to do with family, sweethearts.
Right.
Just come clean.
Right. Felicia?
Yeah, I think there's no way around this situation, and I agree 100% with Olivia. Yes, there's going to be judgment, there's going to be regret, there's going to be hurt, a lot of emotions will be all over the place. But if you love this guy so much as you are saying, you need to love, and he loves you too, you need to gift him with the truth. See it as a gift. Right? See it as a special gift you are giving him, and allow him time to process and do what he wants to do with the information you've given him. Be as blunt as you can be as honest as you can be, and give him every information he needs. Not all the information, the ones he needs to make the decision.
The necessary ones for
Don't
him.
overshare, because there's one thing about men that we fail to acknowledge. Those people, they don't forget to. Men don't forget.
It's not about men don't forget it. Do you forget?
Exactly.
Well, human beings don't forget. But
I don't forget to.
we don't forget. But we have a way of attacking the opposite sex with their how do you call it, these stories, and make them feel bad. But we can also get away with it. Like, we have a way of, I don't know how to put it, but I will tease you with it.
Them with
I will talk about it, but it doesn't take away from what we have or how I feel about you. But these ones, they are different.
Yeah.
It affects how they feel about you. Regardless of how much they try to
Cover it up.
Push down that emotion, it erupts. They'll start misbehaving, and before you say Jack, they'll use that as an excuse for their misbehavior. So we also have to be careful the kind of information we give them. Not to say hide it, but he needs everything he needs to make a decision. I dated your uncle. For how long? What was the relationship like? That's all it ends there.
How many times
He will ask, but it's not a topic for discussion. You don't remember. Do you remember? I don't remember. It could be one. You've lost count. Or you could reduce the number. Like, let's be real. I'm just saying that they are not built for the kind of information we can hold.
Right.
Bottom line.
But
I know they will fight me. They won't agree with me, but it's a fact that we all know. So please, let's tell him the truth. That I stand with 100%.
Right.
Give him every detail he needs to make a decision.
Well,
But the unimportant ones,
the number of times.
well, okay.
not just that. They don't need to ask you what position you gave his uncle.
Nobody's going to be asking that question. So let's move over to Sisho. Sisho.
Chris, so was your uncle as good as I was?
Wait. Oh no,
This
please.
gender, you don't underestimate them.
Sisho, now it's been 5 years she dated the uncle, and she's a woman. the uncle is a man. What's the biggie in this issue right now?
Yeah, you know, frankly, there isn't a lot of problem here, but for the fact that she needs to tell the truth, like both of my sisters have said. That's the only best way to deal with this. But here's how I would have dealt with it, even though I'm still going to tell the truth. Yes, you've seen the status. Yes, you know this man. So you can probably go ahead and ask, is this your uncle that you've been talking about all this while? Wow, I know him. I've been with him before. But the thing about telling someone such heavy-handed information is to temper it with as much softness and empathy as you can. Mind you, if an information like this is going to be shared with you, you would want it to come in the most softest and loving way possible so that it doesn't hit hard ground. Yes, I dated your uncle. Oh, that man, I did. This is someone you love that you are talking to. So you need to come from a place of remorse, one, love, two.
Remorse, why?
Remorse as in he's his uncle.
So
he's a man. He's a married man. So now that is going to paint you as someone who dates married men. In as much as I'm not going to sit here and talk about whether it's wrong or good. The point is, that is not how society sees some of these things, and that's one way this guy is likely to judge you.
Yeah,
so you want to break the news in the softest way possible. Maybe you can ask him to come over, you sit down, you remind him of how much you love him and how much you are totally looking forward to spending the rest of your life with this person, but you have something to tell him, and you hope that the love that both of you share is strong enough to handle this information.
But
and then you drop it.
I have a question. Should your past relationship affect what you have now?
Look, personally, it depends on who it is you had that past relationship with. I will not sit here and sit on my high horse and say there are people that if I know that they've dated a particular kind of person, I will not be worried moving forward with them. You know, like let's say, for example, if you are dating a divorcee, what happened between you and your wife that you guys got divorced? Where did you go wrong? Now, if a man tells me he never went wrong in that marriage, I will see you in a certain way. Are you a narcissist? Why was it that you did everything perfect by the book?
Yeah.
It's not your fault. Everything is the woman's fault. I will take everything else you tell me with a pinch of salt moving forward. You know, and it will affect my decision whether to move forward entirely or to, retrogress. So it is important that, and you never know what matters to someone. It is as important as for some people, the mere fact that you're not willing to change your religion to join their religion may end a relationship. So you don't know what matters to this person. For all you know, his uncle is his world. And the fact that you've dated his uncle, knowing very well that probably his uncle was married, is a big deal to him. But you still need to do your due diligence. Do right by this person because you love him. And you expect that he loves you as much. And hopefully the love they share should stand the test of such things, because moving forward, a lot of other things are going to test both of you, your relationship, even as a couple if you get married. And this is a make or break for you, because then if he knows that you can trust him enough with such a huge information, when this marriage starts off, it means you guys are starting off on a much more solid rock than if the lie is hanging there lingering in the background. So I think it gives her a good opportunity to share this information. Another thing too is, if you share this information in the most empathetic way possible, the most loving and kind way possible, and this man goes, and give him time to actually process it all. It may not happen overnight. He may not just sit there and tell you, okay, I want to go ahead. He may want to talk to his uncle. He may need time to think about it and sit with it for a while. Give him all that time. But in all that process, be as kind, as gentle, as loving, as mindful, and put yourself in his shoes as well while all this is happening. Another thing opportunity presents to you is, it will tell you, does this man genuinely like you?
Me or not? Yeah.
Because sometimes when you are with someone and nothing has tested that relationship, you think everything is perfect. Allow tests to come into relationships, whether it's friendship, whether it's business, whether it's whatever. Allow certain tests to take over the relationship and see how people truly feel about you. You'd be amazed, even with some of your closest friends, little things will break the two of you apart, because then it tells you that this person all along wasn't for me.
Why?
Look, let me tell you a very good example. I produced a film, Evo, and I have friends who have texted on the side and said, "Oh, Sicho, I really like what you've done. I really appreciate it. How can I help you?" A very good friend of mine in the industry, Nashako. I remember when and you know, one thing I realized, I'm talking about this now because I realized a lot of people don't talk about the good people I've done for them. If it's bad, they will talk about it. That's why I'm talking about this now, because the opportunity has presented itself for us to see sometimes the good side and also the bad side. And then she says to me, she's an actress as well. She could easily sit on her high horse or sit in her corner and say, "Hey, you are doing your thing." You decide, okay, go ahead with it. But she calls me on the side and says, "Sicho, what do you need? What can I help with?" And I said, "Listen, I'm struggling with A, B, C." They said, "Okay, you know what? I'll make some calls." And she makes some calls. There was Verna Water decided to help us with water. On my entire set, Verna Water gave us like 50 packs of water and drinks. Just by one person who is a fellow actor who could have easily sat there and said, "This is somebody who's trying to compete with me. I'm an actress as well."
Yeah.
She makes another call. Next thing I know, Papa's Pizza is sponsoring us for 5 days. Look, there are good people. Sometimes you just need to also know how to approach things. Now, this same group of friends, there are friends who have never posted a single poster of my thing. But the thing with human behavior is it gives you an opportunity to sit back and see everyone for who they are. And then now you decide how to go forward with these people. So this opportunity is presented to her. She should take it as an opportunity, a process that if she goes through and it works, bingo. If it doesn't work, it just tells her that there are, yes.
Right. I think you guys have said everything, and it's not going to be easy for her though.
Yeah.
But she also needs to get ready for whatever the reaction or the decision will be. But on that note, okay.
Can I add this? I think she also needs to talk to the uncle.
Yeah.
They need to have a conversation because we are only looking at the side of the guy. What if the guy says, "Okay, I understand this. Let's move on." And the uncle says, "This marriage is not happening because of something he felt, a hurt he felt in the relationship with this guy, or something that happened between him and the girl." So you should definitely have a conversation with the uncle too, and let him know how you feel about the nephew.
Thank you, sisters. Thank you so much. It was nice having this conversation with all of you, and also I'm sure those who sent their letters, are watching. And if you're watching, please note everything the sisters have said and try to deal with it. But let's take a quick break, and when I come back, I will be sharing my final thoughts. All right? Welcome back. This is Sister, and we have been having a great conversation. We've read 2 letters, and the sisters have, shared your thoughts and your feelings about each of the letters that you sent to us. Now it's time for me to share my final thoughts on what I think about these letters. The first letter, I think it should be an eye-opener to everyone, especially if you are getting married. You should be thinking of getting married for the right reasons. I know a lot of times society puts pressure on us that if you reach a certain age, or you need to be married, you need to be married, or you need to be married to this kind of person, you need to be married to this kind of woman, this kind of man. And at the end of the day, it's because of society's perception or because of some certain plans that you have behind your head. It's why you're marrying the person. And really, it's not about just true love. As we all saw, or as we both all heard everything that the lady said, their love was fizzling out, but they didn't do anything about it. And she started visiting, on dating apps. And on the dating apps, she met someone that excited her, which led to a date, only to find out that it was her husband. The only thing I have to say to you is, what has happened. And I think you need to talk it through with your husband. I don't know what the outcome may be, but this is not the time to sweep it under the carpet. You really need to sit down and have a conversation with your husband. And if it doesn't work, or if you don't come to an agreement, it's time for you to probably see a therapy or seek couple therapy. I think that will help. And here in Africa, we really don't see that as important, but it is very important to seek therapy. And when I mean therapy, I am not talking about you visiting your church and then you say, I'm talking to the pastor. Because sometimes it doesn't go the right way. Sometimes all the blame is put on one person. And we all know who the blame will be put on the woman. Do you understand? So it's very important that we seek therapy in situations like this. And like the sister said earlier, while having this conversation, be ready to table out your needs, your wants, what you expect from the relationship. Maybe you people didn't talk about all this. Maybe there's a freaky side that you both have, but no one ever talked about it because maybe, our families are very good people. We are from a Christian home, so we can't do all these freaky things, but it was freaking you on the app and you were enjoying it. And maybe you have never told your husband about it. But that's why it's important to, table matters and have a very mature communication or seek therapy. But when it comes to the second letter, like the sisters have said, I'm going to agree with them on this. It's important that you have a very transparent talk with your fiancé. You have dated the husband. You have dated the uncle. You didn't state if this uncle is married or not, because if he wasn't married, I really don't have a problem with it, even though he's his uncle. Because he's a man. But if he was married, then let's have a conversation and tell him, baby, this is what happened. Like Sicho said, you should be empathetic, you should be discerning, you should have a bit of emotional intelligence to convey your message. Unless, hey, you fit spoil everything with your own hand. So, and on that note, also you should also be ready for what's going to happen. It can go south, it can go north, but please just be ready for whatever happens, all right? And like I said, it can go anyhow, but life still goes on. So that's it. Well, anyway, thank you to each and every one of you for sending in your letters for us to read out here. I mean, it's not very easy to send out your problems, but you have sent your letters. And if you're wondering how you can send your letter, all you need to do is send your letter to sistersisterislive@gmail.com, and we might be reading out your letter in the next episode. Remember that this show is brought to you by Gino for your favorite stews, sauces, gravies, and your delicious food. Gino truly cares, and that is why it's always the best to have in your food. My name is Chris Carter, and this has been Sister Sister. See you next week right here at the same time. Bye.